Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where we are currently cruising our way through making a few paper mills, as well as a bunch of government administrations here. The paper mills are going to be a little slow due to the construction efficiency there, but I do want to check in here. We're at 5.16 here, and we're already heading up to level 5 of law enforcement. Okay. I didn't realize we were already going to level 5. That's looking solid then. I don't think there's any problem there. I would love to change our laws here. I don't think per capita taxation makes sense to do, though. So we may want to think about potentially going to... Who would be in favor of this? Trade unions and industrialists? So we would need the industrialists to go to public schools. I do think that would be amazing to do. Getting our literacy up would be really, really good for our tech. So, what would it look like if we were to put the industrialists into government here? 68. That's not so bad. Let's do it. We're going to do that, and then the idea is, what do we need for this? We need state religion. We need to not have state religion and not have serfdom. Okay, so we would need to get off of serfdom. The scholar officials are going to very much dislike this. We can try to abolish serfdom. We can also... We would also need to get rid of state religion, but we might be able to get down to private schools. Or religious schools. That would need us to get rid of serfdom. Only serfdom. Okay. So if we were to do that, our chances are low on this. We'll see how this goes. I'm not necessarily expecting this political move to work. And we may see... We may see a forced abandon here. We'll see. The scholar officials are not going to be happy about this. I can tell you that right now. So we'll see how that goes. Our paper mills are going to be done in 5 weeks. Getting rid of serfdom would be very good for us. There's no doubt about that. But I'd be a little surprised if this works. Odds are not in our favor. But we can just keep trying. We are going to be a little bit awkward on our radicalism as we're doing this. The Great Beijing Earthquake has happened as well. 40% devastation. We'll put money into relief, but that's going to be painful. Okay. So the paper mills are happening, for sure. Paper is still considered expensive. Now, I want to check in on those paper mills. We are the #1 paper producer worldwide, and I want to check in on the status of these. So, over here, it's mostly sulfur, but this is still positive. So, sulfur is not actually the core problem here. This is a production capacity issue, not a supply issue. Okay. Noted. So, with that being the case... How much are we spending on paper? 531,000. Yeah, it seems still pretty worthwhile. We're going to build 10 more here. It is slow building, minus 20% efficiency, but I think it's worthwhile. And the reason we're building it here is for economy of scale. We are going to have to keep an eye on our infrastructure, but our infrastructure is good everywhere for right now. So that seems okay. We'll see how this serfdom abolishment goes. It all comes down really to this first roll. We'll see how that happens. Postal savings has been unlocked. Okay, cool. That wasn't that big of a deal, but that's fine. Reinforced concrete from here, that's 11 years out. I don't feel like we need military tech right now. We do have field works underway, but, I mean, general staff would be nice. That's 3 years out. What's Britain's... Britain is genial and amicable towards us. And of course, we're down right now, 384. This number would be up quite a bit. Not a huge amount, but a decent amount. A reasonable amount. So I think realistically, we're in an okay position militarily here. Russia doesn't like us very much. And that's fine. That's definitely fine. British Raj doesn't like us either. But I don't think there's anything they can really do about it. So I really do think that we need to be working on either societal issues or production issues. And I'm leaning towards the societal one right now. We have egalitarianism coming in automatically, so that's looking good. Realism, huh? Yeah, I don't think that's amazing. What do we want to work towards? We could work towards, like, socialism if we wanted the workplace safety office investment, which wouldn't be terrible, but our population growth is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. This gives us regulatory bodies and restricted child labor, so labor movement is actually pretty important. That requires egalitarianism. There's also identification documents for that taxation capacity. That's 11 years out. I would rather not go on that tier just yet. Max education institution investment is, I think, non-terrible. That also leads into socialism. So let's grab dialectics for right now. I think that'll be fine. The real question is, what happens with serfdom here? That is the ultimate question right now. We're 20 weeks out from these paper mills being built. Okay, seems reasonably fine. I think this is only 9, not 10. Yeah, I meant for it to be 10, but close enough. So these government administrations are going to be finishing up. We're still working on all of these rice farms behind it. And I feel like that's reasonably okay now that we have our bureaucracy up high enough to raise our law enforcement institution. Purchasing emancipation, huh? The scholar officials are refusing to give up their serfs without adequate compensation. So we could have the state make up the cost and lose 15% bureaucracy. Or they would purchase their own emancipation. Or refuse to pay for it. Okay, what would that bureaucracy actually be? Okay. How much more bureaucracy do we need to enact this? We're most of the way there. I think this is okay. We're negative on our bureaucracy, but we're going to continue working on our government administrations. So we'll work our way back out of this. I think that's completely fine. It'll delay it a little bit, but that's okay. The armed forces are upset about the industrialists being favored. And they need to accept that we cannot always please everyone. 16.8% here. That's better. So this is okay. This is an acceptable amount, right? All these paper mills are being worked on. And do we want to finish that before we get additional government administrations being made? I think the answer to that is no. I want to make one government administration here. And let's see here, 10. So 20 is 300. We need 40. We need close to 50 here. So it would be like 45. Something along the lines of this. Ish. That might not be exactly the correct amount. But we'll let that go. I do think that getting these paper mills done is pretty useful. Let's do those first, and then we'll do the government administrations. But that will get through pretty quickly. And we're already working on a number of these government administrations, so that seems reasonably okay. We do need to work our way through this bureaucracy deficit, though. No doubt about that. So we'll work on that. And we'll see how this inaction of serfdom abolished goes. The fact that we got plus 10% on this first round makes me very hopeful. But we'll see. We're still reliant on some luck here, but we have a little bit more wiggle room. So that's good. These paper mills are nearly complete at this moment. We are 7 weeks out from them all being done. And of course, we're still going to need to work on paper mills, almost certainly. But egalitarianism was just unlocked. That's cool. So that unlocks a decent amount of things here. But nothing too major immediately. It's more about unlocking future things, which is fine. Paper mills are now basically completed. Paper is still considered expensive, but we can see that the price here has definitely been dropping. And we do need a lot more paper mills. I don't want to build more paper mills at this point until we are through this bureaucracy deficit, though. It is improving. Okay, so emancipators, huh? A group of influential rural folk are petitioning for the rapid abolition of serfdom. 20% or 10%, 50-50 chance. This is good either way. I don't want to roll the dice on that 66% chance of a -10 success chance. We'll take this and see which one we get. We got the smaller one, but that's still okay. Inefficient agriculture, huh? Yes. Follow their advice. Discourage subsistence farming. Cool. So our bureaucracy is being heavily worked on at this moment. But it's working very quickly. No doubt about that. How much are we unrealized taxing? Oh, what's going on over here? Portugal and the U uprising, huh? Interesting. We'll keep an eye on that situation for sure. I imagine they're going to lose to Portugal, right? Surely. So we're going to go back into debt here. In fact, we are back in debt at this moment. Man, another earthquake? How many of these do we have going on right now? Only the one. But that does hurt. That really hurts. We're going to wrap up these government administration constructions. But we are running a deficit right now. We are going to pop back into positive bureaucracy here, though. And that's going to be eaten up by this for a while. Water tube boilers, though, finishing up, and that does help our production. So where can we build these? Water tube boilers can go in furniture manufactories, tooling workshops, which that is quite important. Paper mills, steel mills, incredibly important. Motor industries, rather important. I don't think we can do any of that. We can do condensing engine pumps here in our coal mines, iron mines, lead mines, sulfur mines, and gold mines. So all of that will increase our base level of supply pretty dramatically. We'll see what that does to our economy. I'm not expecting it to do too much at this exact moment, but it will drive some prices down. Yeah, these are currently expensive. No shocker there. Low market access in one location. We will need to do something about that. Is that due to infrastructure? Yes. So we'll build that single railway. Not super shocked about this. This is where we were building all of the paper mills, so that's fine. These government administrations will be done soon, and we are working on all of these actual tax-generating buildings as well. So we're working our way through this deficit. And we're back to being positive in bureaucracy at this point. We are most of the way to level 5 here. But we do still need to work our way through some of that. So I think that we're going to need more bureaucracy than what we have here. I'm going to queue up another... Let's sort here by tax capacity. I'm going to queue up another 10. There we go. So we're going to continue working on all of this. I definitely want to work on this railway. I want to work on all of these constructions here. Insufficient taxation capacity is well understood. We're more interested in the bureaucracy right now, though. We're negative bureaucracy because of our institution. This is fully expected. We've only got 2 weeks on that, though. So that should be fine. The Emperor has intervened in the political process. So he wants this to pass. A 20% enactment success chance. We would lose opinion from the literati and industrialists, but I think that's worth it. This now goes up to a 47% chance. We've had very good luck on this. I like it. So we're going to continue to build all of this. The US is belligerent towards us. Hilarious. For the time being, this is fine. This is absolutely fine. We need to continue to work our way through these government administrations. Paper is continuously going to be expensive for us. No shockers there. Iron is also still quite expensive, isn't it? Hang on. What's that actual iron price? If we go in here... Oh, that's not helpful. Okay. We'll go in here. and check in on iron. Okay, minus 1.73k. Noted. Fine art. Hilarious. Sure. Okay, there's our law enforcement investment up to 5. So that's beautiful. The Metropolitan Police have been completed. 33% of servicemen become loyal, or minus 25% radicals from standard of living decreases. We'll get the loyalists, I think. There's probably not a lot of them, but that's what we'll take. Okay, so this railway is finishing up here. At this point, we don't require additional bureaucracy. So I feel like working our way through all of these actual tax-generating buildings would probably be good. I do want to make sure that these are on auto-expand, and most of them were. Cool. Now, what else are we spending this money on in our construction goods? It is definitely cheaper, isn't it? Welfare payments is a lot of this. Interest is a good chunk of it as well. Our interest payments are high. So we may want... Let's see here. I'm just thinking. Well, serfdom is potentially going to be abolished here. Let's see if that happens. We may want to... Okay, this stalled. That's unfortunate. So that does make things slightly awkward for us. Our construction is progressing here. No doubt about that. The real question is, do we think that this deficit is a problem? I don't know. I'm in two minds about it. On the one hand, I think that our interest accumulation is problematic. On the other hand, I feel like it's a decent investment. But it's also not like a super important thing. So perhaps we should pause our construction here for a bit and pay down this debt. We can see how that goes. Our balance isn't tremendously high, which does tell me that this is the right thing to do. Because that interest is going to be a problem. It's mostly the relief, though. The two natural disasters back-to-back was rough. But we are only 17 and 34 months away from finishing those. And once those are done, we should be able to construct nearly fully. Nearly uninhibited. In the meantime, I do want to queue up a few additional government administrations. We know that we need... Let's see, 450 would be 30 of these. So we know that we need, like, at least 35. There's probably going to be more of these that we need. But something like 35 there. Okay. We have about 11.3 million here. The real issue here... Well, do we want to just raise our taxes? And pay this off faster? That might not be a bad idea. Bureaucratic imbroglio? Oh, we're suddenly getting a bunch of bad rolls. We're going to take the enactment time. That does put us negative in our bureaucracy temporarily. But that should be okay. That will cut into our taxation. But once our modifiers here time out, 13 and 31 months respectively, once those time out, we should be a lot better. We've been having some bad rolls now on our serfdom abolished, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get back to good rolls here. That would be nice. But it does come down to RNG. So we're paying off our debt here. We've got about 8.5 million left here. Our interest is down to about 40k. But it's really these additional expenses here that are really eating our lunch right now. It's rough. No doubt about that. Once those are paid off, that'll be much better. So resuming this construction does put us negative at this level of taxation, correct? Yes. Okay. Just wanted to check that. Didn't actually want it to tick through, so that should be fine for the moment. We definitely do want to build these government administrations, but I don't want to be running a deficit at this exact moment. And yeah, our investment pool is just kind of chilling right now. Fair enough. Serfdom abolished is going to... Let's see here. So this is our current law. Yeah, reducing the scholar official political strength would be really, really good. And this will also give us more infrastructure from population. Indeed. Great Britain wants a trade agreement with us. We accept that one. Beautiful. So paper is expensive. Do we want to import any? Yeah, we can import some from the British market now that we have a trade agreement with them. I feel like that's okay. Now the question is, does serfdom become abolished here? And it did. Beautiful. That is fantastic. So serfdom is now officially abolished. With that, and with the earthquake relief and working against the system going away soon, and these guys want a defensive pact, we decline that. Okay. I'm not actually interested in that. So 16.7k interest here. How are we doing on our goods here? Our goods appear to be reasonably okay. We're back to being positive in our bureaucracy, even with this working against the system being there. That's remarkable. From the ground up, huh? A leader of the literati. That's fine. Okay. How long on this earthquake relief? 6 months on that. What is our actual deficit going to be? 124k? So that'll definitely go away once we have both of these gone, right? We'll definitely be positive at that point. I think we pay off the rest of our debt here. So we let this go for a few more weeks. Basically, we continue paying off our debt, maybe until this earthquake relief is done. I don't know. That's maybe a little too long. Our debt's going to be gone in 3 weeks. Well, 4 weeks. And this has 4 months on it. So, yeah, that's definitely too long. I want to get back to construction very, very soon here. Yep, that's definitely the plan here. We now have gold reserves. Let's resume this construction. We are going to be running a deficit for a little bit here. We're going to go back into debt briefly. But I think I'm okay with this. These government administrations are going to be built soon enough, but we're going to be running positive as soon as these time out. That said, running that debt is going to be a bit of a problem for a little while. We'll see what happens after these government administrations finish up, but running this bureaucracy surplus is giving us a state construction efficiency bonus, and I do want to use that. So we'll do that for now. And that seems reasonably fine. Wood is currently considered expensive. We can certainly do something about that. We can produce a few additional logging camps. And I think I'm going to do that. Let's max out Jiangxi's logging camps. There we go. So we'll get those underway. We're still building these government administrations here. Dialectics have been unlocked. That was quick. Okay. We can go for labor movement, but that is actually being exposed. We could go for human rights, but that's a ways out. Identification documents is being exposed too. That's really nice. Steel frame buildings is an interesting option, or reinforced concrete, which is 10 years out. Okay. We may want to grab something up here, like crystal glass or canneries that are much faster to research. They're kind of left behind right now in terms of exposure. So now that we've abolished serfdom, we could put in religious schools here. Nobody would really be opposed to this. This is not the final point that we want this to be at, but it would be a whole lot better than no schools. So we'll start to work on that to start to bring up our literacy. So that'll be good. Our logging camps are going to be done in 3 weeks here. So that will help on that wood price, which is already going down. So that is reasonably fine. And our deficit is improving. We did manage to get rid of one of our expenditures here. So that's great. Okay, the wood production is coming online, and we finished up about half of our government administrations. This now feels like a deficit that we can work through. I mean, we definitely can, right? Because this is going to time out in 15 months, and once it does, we will be positive. The only question is, will we still be positive once the interest piles up? I think the answer to that is yes. We appear to be improving our deficit, not making it worse. So I think that's good. These government administrations are going to be wrapping up in 5 weeks here. And we are continuing to work our way through a bunch of this queued stuff back here. So that seems reasonably fine. I'm not too concerned about that. We'll wrap up these government administrations. I do want to get our government administration deficit dealt with sooner rather than later. And we're definitely working our way through that. Our unrealized taxes are a bit up there, but it seems good. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to see how enacting religious schools goes, hopefully as well as abolishing serfdom. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, James, Shadowwolf, Mlohan80, Rogue Corvid, Kentogan, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Anna the Elephant, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.